What's up, everybody? It's your boy ShowtimeDr. So, I've updated the way that I do Cali now, and since the dungeon's back, I wanted to update you guys on how I do it, and then I'll do a little updated guide as well. But first, I'm going to show you the characters. I actually managed to clear. I reset her to 15 tries. I died twice, but I killed her 15 times, and we got like, I think 7 Cali drops, so. I'm a happy soldier right now, but so let me go into first. Okay. A lot of people were asking me during the stream, what DPS, what DPS? DPS honestly doesn't matter. Ideally, you want Morrigan, but honestly, if you have anyone that hits hard, your DPS almost doesn't matter in here. Now, there is an exception. If you are going to run Ian, a really buff Ian in here, Ian throws out enough protects that you could actually get away. And this is assuming your Ian's buff as hell. Probably, I would say 3 to 4 purple stars at least. But, you know, play with that if you got your own Ian. Because Ian throws out so many protections that your DPS is going to be able to stay alive on Cowley because everything's going to be targeting him. Not everything, but most things. So, and since he can heal himself and cleanse himself, it's not a matter of, oh no, he's going to eventually get overwhelmed. But you're going to have to run that with 2 really stellar supports if you do like double Morrigan or double Cynthia. I know someone that's doing Morgan and Christian. So there's an idea for you guys if you got Yuri and built up. If you don't, well, I'll show you what I do. I've also done this with an Electra. I'm sure you could do it with pretty much any tank if you get them the right gear. So these are the stats on my tank. As you can see, I've made him pretty beefy. I'm not going for the 6 purple star because all that would get him is extra counter, I believe. It might be multi. It's one of the two, 10% and then 20% attack, which your tank really doesn't need attack, except maybe Ian. Ian actually hits fairly hard, but he doesn't need it, if you know what I mean. And then I've skilled up his 2 once, because I managed to get the 10 clone, or the 10 summon bonus, or whatever. So, right here, you know, he's got base attack speed, a little bit of attack from the primary stats on his rune. Not that much multi-encounter, and a decent amount of recovery. 20k health, which is pretty nice. You should aim for on most of your tanks. And about 5,000 defense, a little under. 5,000 defense is a benchmark I set for most tanks. You can get away with it on some tanks like Ian that can heal themselves, but because there is some ignore armor DPS in the game now, especially in PvP. So a lot of those people, you'll see them build their health too. I've seen people with as much as 26,000, which is like upper echelon, perfect rune, whale territory. So I'm never going to reach that. But ideally, what I would actually like to do with him, get him a little bit more counter. You know, the multi will stay the same. And then maybe a little bit more evasion, because for those who don't know, Ian has... Of course, he has his 5% base evasion like everyone else does, and then when his buff is up, he has another 40%. So I'd love to get him like another 5 to 10% and just really swing that evasion thing. But I can't. So these are his runes, you can see, mostly defense and HP. HP increase, HP increase, HP increase. A little bit of recovery and some counter. And then multi on the last one. So, and then the talents are the typical tank talents, if you don't know the tank talents by now. Just, well, I'll show it anyways. Kind of. Decrease damage taken from bosses, reduce attack, gain protection, damage immunity, and, you know, his ultimate. That's what Ian's rocking. So my Ian is beefy as hell. He still goes down, usually once or twice a dungeon at least. And, you know, if Cowley's really getting crazy with their RNG, he'll go down like 5 or 6 times. But for the most part, the evade especially keeps him up. Now I'll show you my Sid. The thing about Sid is, you want your Sid to have as much HP as possible because his shields are 30% of his HP to the entire team whenever he gets 3 or more fluttering feathers. His damage immunity is actually really nice in here too. It doesn't proc all the time, but it procs at a higher rate than the tank's damage immunity, and it always goes to whoever has the lowest HP, excluding Sid himself. So Sid's freaking rad. I got his 2 and his 3 max. I can max his 1, but I've been working on Tayo's skill ups right now. And, you know, just like a little bit of attack speed for PvP. Tons of multi-strike. I love my Sid with multi-strike. That way he can cleanse 2 debuffs at once. And then some HP recovery and as much health as I can get on him. So like I said, you know, HP increase, HP increase, a little bit of attack speed, HP increase, some recovery, multi with some recovery, more recovery, and then on his 6 is as much multi as I could get. If I can find one with triple multi, I'll give that to him sometime, but for now, that's the best I got. As for hero talents on your healer, I actually don't have max on him. Or my Rue, actually. I got 40% chance for the defense decrease rather than 50. You know, get a shield. That could be upgraded too. It can be 15%. Decrease damage taken from bosses. I believe that can get to 30%. It might not for support, but either way. You know, Sid's got some work on his talents, but he still does really well. And then Rue, what can you really say about Rue at this point? I've skilled up her ultimate. Most people will tell you that's new, but I really like that attack bonus and that health bonus. You can also skill up her 2. It'll go to 70% eventually, so I could have 54% right now, but you know, if I'm running triple support, it's not that big a deal. A little bit of multi, a little bit of counter. Base attack speed, a little bit of HP recovery. I try to aim for about that 10% on every support except for Ramuh, because Ramuh's always healing herself anyways. And, you know, that 16k health, that's a benchmark as far as I'm concerned for where you eventually want all your supports max health to be, is at 16k. If you look at Sid, of course I went completely HP on Sid, but or as much HP as I could, that's about 16k as well. And runes, you know, HP and defense, your typical stuff. You want your supports to be alive, because if they're dead, nothing else really matters. A little bit of counter. HP increase, HP recovery. I always try to go triple HP recovery on slot 5, but it's not that easy to get. Actually, it's semi-easy to get. Not super easy, but semi-easy. And then triple multi-strike when I can as well. And then Morgan. I've skilled up her ult to 4. Super sexy. I want to get to 6 for that 480, but 4 is super sexy on her. And then, you know, look at those base stats. 8600 attack percentage, because everything she does is attack percentage base. Attack percentage. Attack percentage. Demon Sword, Bloody Petal. Bleeding's attack percentage. And then, of course, all of her moves are attack percentage as well, so... And then what I got on her, she's actually pretty squish. I gave her a little bit extra crit strike damage, which ideally I probably actually will take some of that off and give her more crit chance, but it's just the way the runes worked out. A little bit of counter, pretty good. I could see giving her some multi too, but I'm not like stuck on it, so. And then she actually has a sub evade, and then her health's about 13k. So once again, not the tankiest hero. You can see I did the crit chance and the attack percentage. Attack percentage is a must on her as far as I'm concerned. But I don't know, I'm sure many people play them anyways. So triple attack runes, those are going to be the best. Many of those as you can get, and then whatever else you got for the other slots. Counter works, multi works, crit chance works. Crit damage, you know, if she's critting a decent amount, it works. And then hero talents for her, I actually did not give her the defense bonus. I gave her the increased attack percentage because I'm just all about the attack with her. Because, you know, she's there. I can get her up if I need her to get back up. So that's where I'm running. I usually take a friend's Rue with me. You know, they can be geared completely differently from how I would gear my Rues. But as long as they have as close to 16k health, or if they have a bunch of skill ups on their 2 or 3, I'm generally good with it. So that's what I, in general, run it with. What I'm going to do now, we'll play a video and then show you guys how I did in a particular run. Now, before I start this video, I did want to say I just did a stream where I cleared Cali 15 times in 17 tries. So the date right now is August 30th? August 30th, 2018. So if you're watching this video like weeks from now, there's going to be a replay. It's something called like clearing Cali or farming Cali, something like that, right around 8:30 or 8:29, 18. So it'll be there for 60 days. Look it up if you really want to see how the clears went and you happen to have the time for whatever. But I'm going to go through one of those clears right now. So we'll get that rolling. And then I'll run it at about as, because I'm also talking to people, because this is during my stream, so sometimes there's long lag times. So right here, the first phase, what happens is, that's Sari that you're fighting. Immediately try to knock her out of stealth, because she does more damage when she's stealthed. Usually if you have Ruse and Amons and Morgan, you know, they can knock her out of stealth. Sid can't, but just the way it goes. Now, the thing about Sari is, and what I didn't know in the last video, is she's gonna ult around 50%. So if you have Amon, you can cheese her with Amon's 3. You just need to get it on her right around when she's near 50%. I'm not sure if this was a successful run with that. But pretty much Sari is going to be focusing your DPS as hard as she can. When she's taunted, she'll hit your tank. If anyone happens to get low, for whatever reason, from the triple attack or whatever, she'll try to focus them down. But usually she'll go on your attack, as you can see. She's going pretty hard on Morgan there. So what I'm trying to do here, she's at about half. So I'm actually defending because I don't want her to ult early. But in that case, she did, and that procs Sid's shield. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to cheese her. But trust me, you can actually cheese her with Amon's 3, so. And she actually got through to the resolve there. Because basically the way that I build my team, you have to get through Amon's resolve, you have to get through Sid. Anyone that goes under 30%, Sid's going to put up a damage immunity for. You got to go through Sid's shield, you have to go through Amon resolve, and in the case of Morgan, you got to go through her extra life because she's Zerks. Now this stage, what I said last time was you should DPS these guys down evenly. I've changed my mind. You should DPS down the black one ASAP. Reason being, the black one hits a lot harder and he just has more damage potential in general. The white one actually, by the way, he's dark and the white one is light, so they will absorb damage from their like elements. They got a lot of AoE, they do a decent amount of multi, and they have a cone attack on their one. So... And also, when you kill Sari, she automatically puts poison up on everybody, and you can't cheese it with the abnormal status immunity like you can in Renta. So what you see there, I just basically blew ult. Now, when these guys get to below 30%, they're going to ult AoE, and the black one hits really hard. The white one doesn't hit as hard, but still fairly hard. And he also puts up Looming Death. And right after he ults, the white one will do his AoE and put up Anti-Revive. Do not let people be low during the anti-revive because if you die with that on you, you can't be res, so you're effectively screwed for the rest of the dungeon. Now, Amon is a light elemental, so whenever he hits the light guy, he's actually healing it, but sometimes I hit him anyways just to get... you can't taunt these guys, they're immune to all abnormal statuses. So, but sometimes I hit them just to try to get the debuffs on them, like attack down, etc. And then Amon also puts out a buff for the team and himself, so... but pretty much when you're done with one, you know, top your guys off, because there is lots of spread damage, AoE damage in here. And just try to kill this white one ASAP. Like we did there. And that phase 2 is actually pretty rough. That's actually the roughest phase for people who are new to the dungeon. But just keep practicing, you know, go in with... Let me pause it. If you have a Morgan, you can go in there... Like, say you don't have this team I'm running, so say your Morgan's gonna die, because Sari's gonna alter. Try to time it so that Morgan dies right before Sari dies. Because then she'll be zerking, she'll be taking 25% less damage, and she's countering everything. And she's multiing. So she'll put up a butt ton more damage as long as you keep her alive there. Now, Callie, the way that Callie works, for anyone that's a first-time Callie event, she has those clones with her. Now, the clones and Callie, they all pretty much have a 50% chance to go into stealth. Like you see that one on the far left there went into stealth. But actually, they all just did. That's funny. Except for the main Callie, they're all in stealth. So sometimes they'll go into stealth, sometimes they won't. Now, you want to knock them out of stealth. That's what Rue's particularly good for here. But let me pause it here because there's so much to explain in this fight. But if one takes a turn while it's in stealth, it's going to sacrifice its stealth, and it's going to give Callie a stacking buff. If Callie gets 3 of those stacking buffs, she's going to do a Kona ult that's pretty much going to one-shot. It does penetration damage. Does it do penetration? Maybe it doesn't do penetration damage. I think it actually doesn't. So, okay, my bad, it doesn't do penetration damage, because I've seen people with shields survive it. But it's gonna one-shot anything, even your tank. So you have to have like, like dodge shields or able shield or damage immunity somehow in order to survive it, like Electra's 2, etc. Now, this is why you're trying to knock all the clones out of stealth. At the same time, you are trying to not kill more than 2 clones, because every time you kill 3 clones, Callie resummons the clones. Maybe not instantly, but she'll do it eventually, and when she resummons the clones, she herself goes into stealth. You never want Callie in stealth, because when Callie's in stealth, she's going to put out poisons, which are really annoying. For those who don't know how poison works, you can't heal somebody with poison. Any healing that goes off does damage to them, unless it's also a heal that removes, that cleanses basically debuffs, like a Rue 2, etc. Or Karen's 3. So what happens then is, anytime a dot is ticking on you, it doesn't matter what it is. Callie, at least in her kit, it might actually be harder in here, but she's definitely hitting you at least. I want to say it's 40% harder. I believe is what her kit says. Yeah. So it's 40% harder. So, but I don't know what they tuned it for in this dungeon. It might be even more than that. So you want to get those dots off, especially your tank and your DPS ASAP. She also puts a brand up with her 1. Brand makes you take 30% more damage from everything. And if she kills anybody with ult, which she most likely is going to kill someone with ult, the way that her kit works is that she does 40% more damage for 2 turns, I believe it is. So probably in here it's even more damage than that. So also when Callie's in stealth, if she does her 2, which is the little wind shuriken thing, like that there, she's going to hit multiple people. Up to 3 sometimes. It just depends what protections you have up, etc. So you'll have to watch that. And Callie is very capable. You see how I've made it so that I only have 2 clones up. So right about now, you're trying your best to keep the clones up, but you still have to hit them on occasion when they go into stealth. So that's that mechanic. Callie herself, she can hit you for ridiculous amounts of damage out of nowhere, even if you don't have brand or dot on you. I've seen her non-crit somebody, even the tank, for like 12k without any of that stuff on. No brand. She didn't recently kill anybody. There's no dot ticking on him. She'll just randomly just crit you really effing hard, and there's really nothing you can do about it. Now, I've seen her crit for 18k. I've seen her in 2 turns put out 36k with multis and stuff. And that's not counting. She was also in stealth, and she had poison and all that up. So whatever that's ticking for. So obviously, you want to keep her out of stealth as much as possible. You do not want her to kill people as much as possible. But unfortunately, unless you're running Ian as tank, she's probably going to kill your DPS a lot. And you also want to keep that brand off as much as possible. So that's what Sid's doing. That's what Rue's doing with her 2. And Ian can actually cleanse himself if you're running Ian. Now, shields and stuff that like Ian's putting up right now, or Sid's putting up. Any type of shield, even like an able shield or whatever, is pretty good. I'm trying to think. There's like a couple other mechanics in here I want you guys to know. Oh, so what I do the majority of time with my tank is I don't actually target Callie unless I really don't want her to hit either a support that's low or Morrigan, in this case my DPS. Otherwise, I'll usually hit a clone because Amon needs to have his buff up and he needs to hit someone with his 1 or 2 in order to have his buff up. But I usually save his 2 to knock clones out of stealth, especially if they are on the side and on the edges. So, but on occasion I'll hit her if I think the clones are going to get too low. So another mechanic to watch out for is which clones you leave alive. You see here I've left the ones on the left alive up until now. Ideally, what you want to do is have Callie. I almost called her Kari. You want to have Callie in the middle, and you want to have the 2 clones right next to her, because in that case, it's always going to present a chance for your Rue or whatever you got to knock them out of stealth to hit them, anything with a cone effect. Um, but that's not always going to work out. So like you saw there, I put them on the left side. Now that can go wrong if both of the clones stealth and Callie's still there. Then sometimes you can only knock one out of stealth depending on RNG. Also, if you're running Rue and you have two on one side stealthed, um, don't target anything. Just hit auto, and Rue will usually tractor beams over towards the one in the middle and knock them both out of stealth. It doesn't always work depending on which other ones are stealthed and who else is up, but and sometimes, you know, you're just going to be screwed, and like either Morgan will have been berserk, or somehow you had to kill one, or one got killed with a counter, or whatever happened. So, you know, you're just going to have to come to terms with, oh well, she's going to get another stack unless I can kill that one. In that case, you can try to rush kill one, and hopefully she'll summon, and you'll be able to cone attack, or hopefully you'll have a cooldown. So as you see here, Callie ult's coming. That's what she's talking about. Now, luckily, I remember this part. I was actually looking at this like, dang, I have a damage immunity shield. But freaking regular Kelly knocked it out. Or one of the clones knocked... Or, no, she knocked it out with a counter, unfortunately, and then she killed him. So at this point, what you gotta do, just make sure you get your tanks up. If you have two Rues and another support like I do, use Rue's ult on the other support so that they can have their... because when Rue reses somebody, she gets all their cooldowns back. So I'll have that person res the tank. And you're going to have to play really safe for about 5 turns, depending on how the cooldowns go on your heroes or your support characters' reses. So you see here, I don't have an ideal situation with the clones. One's in stealth in the corner, and I can't really hit it unless I have Amon's 2. So in this case, I was just like, well, I might as well just start burning. And there's Callie, Tractor Beam, and Morrigan again. So you see how hard it is to keep DPS up if you don't have protection procs and immunities, etc. going out. Sometimes you'll get really lucky with that. But so you see there, they're both in stealth. Once again, also whenever Callie's in stealth with her 1, she reduces buff duration by 1 turn if she hits you with her 1. So right there, you see how I'm not targeting anyone with Rue, and she tractor beamed onto both of the stealth units. So right now, I'm trying to clear one side as fast as possible, and since the one on the right of Kelly is low, I just figured I'm going to clear the ones on the right. And sometimes randomly, what really sucks is Callie will get off like 6 turns, sometimes even 7 turns, depending on if you got like a res cycle going or something. So, which we just did have, by the way. So sometimes there's really not much you can do about that. Just try to keep knocking whoever you can out of stealth. And as you guys saw in my preview, or shown the characters video, I have some pretty beefy characters in here. So in order, because this is right now the hardest advent in the game. Now we probably got one coming in a week. We'll see how hard that one is. But this is definitely the hardest one right now. So do not be frustrated if you are not getting success. When I was first doing this, and my Amon was like 3 purple star, and most of my other heroes were 3 purple star, I could do this maybe 20 to 30% of the time. And there are times in this dungeon where you would do everything right and still just lose. Utterly, miserably, completely destroyed because Callie decided, you know, all their clones decided they were going to go into stealth a lot. And Callie decided she was going to put brand on everybody and freaking crit for 18k 2 out of 3 turns in a row, you know. So it's a very frustrating dungeon, especially as you're building up. But as more people play it, you know, be watching other videos too, because eventually someone's going to figure out the easy way. The closest thing I can think of for the easy way is, like I said, with that Ian build with double DPS. So Callie's got 3 stacks again, and there go 3 people. So luckily, I got res. As you can see, I'm resing all my supports, get everything back. But I am in a precarious situation now because eventually down the line, Callie's going to get another 6 turn thing going on. And I do not have any reses for at least 5 turns. Now, Sid does have some cooldown reduction. So, but he was forced to use that on Amon and Morrigan. So, You have to play really cautiously here. Luckily, we only have 2 clones up. If it was 4 clones, that would be really bad. But you could see, I'm just playing it safe, trying to get Sid shield, knocking dudes out of stealth where I can, and keeping it to 2 clones as long as I can, keeping Morgan up as long as I can, because Morgan's gonna eat a lot of aggro. That's just the way it is in the Cali fight. So Morgan's down. I'm down to 4 turns till I have my next res. Possibly with cooldown reduction, maybe 3, maybe even 2 if I did it this turn. I'm not sure if I did or not. Right now I'm ranting about something in the chat, so. Trying to think if there's any other mechanics I haven't explained. Kali's win, so fire does more damage to win, clearly. The bonus heroes. Morgan's getting bonus damage. I believe Surdic reduces cooldowns. And I forget who the other bonus hero is. But it's another fire hero. Might be Leafa, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. So then, another strat I've seen is double Cynthia, Ian, Rue, and whatever other support. I think it was a Sid. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, Cynthia with Rue, that's garbage. No, it actually isn't. It actually works in that case because, yes, you're not getting the auto crit and the auto multi and the auto counters from Cynthia, but... Oh, actually, I know who it was. The 5th was Surdic, not Sid. So you got to be very careful with your support there, not to let them die. But what you can do, Cynthia's 2 now has no cooldown, and normally you wouldn't be able to use her 2 and then use it again. But since Rue is cleansing the silence most of the time, because sometimes she'll be cleansing. Actually, I guess there's nothing else for her to cleanse in here automatically with this run, or on this encounter. So basically, she's going to be cleansing the silence, and you're going to be able to constantly knock them out of 2, even with 1 Cynthia. So you're going to be able to constantly knock them out of stealth. Now, the problem is, that means that Cynthia's probably getting lots of counters, so that's why you need Ian there to protect her. What you can also do is run double support, 1 Cynthia, a tank of your choice, but hopefully Amon, and then Surdic. And then that way... especially if you have a Rue's knocking that silence off all the time, but your DPS is consistently alive. So it's almost the same as having, because you see how much my Morgan's dying. Otherwise, your DPS is just going to get train wrecked in here over and over until you're done with the dungeon. So, okay, so another thing to note, Kali does have a resolve. I am not sure if you can sneak a hero in here with like poison or anti-healing, if that stops the heal on it, because there is a mob, the first mob in Tayo's dungeon, Howard I think his name is, he cleanses before he resolves. So I don't know if Kali does a similar thing. Maybe someone who has experience with that could let us know, because otherwise, potentially you could run her with someone that blocks healing and just cheese her instantly after her resolve is up. So right here, once again, you see I've knocked them back down to 2 people. And we got most of our team alive. We're getting close to that resolve. That's what I'm trying to do, because it makes no sense for me to resurrect Morgan right now if I can ult her, but the ult's only going to take her down 5,000 health, and then she resolves for 28k or whatever it is. So in that case, yeah, you just auto her there. 24k is what she goes back to. So once you do that, I believe her clones get more of her dodge percentage and accuracy. So the clones are a little bit more dangerous, but don't worry too much about that. Kali's always the main danger in here. So you're just doing the same thing. You're knocking things out of stealth. You're trying to mitigate as much damage as possible and trying to keep debuffs off as much as possible. So you see there, I got the protection proc on. Damn, nice. That was a nice crit. I got that protection proc on Morgan, so that kept her up for a while. And with Morgan too, don't be afraid to use her too when you get her up if there's 4 clones up and you really want to clear them, especially if there is one of them that is hidden. Because you definitely want to take care of those hidden clones ASAP. But right now I'm in a primo position because she's low health. She has no stacks on her ult. And I got all my team up, so assuming we can stay alive. I remember right here I was actually like, should I do the 2? Should I do the 2? Okay, alright, why not? Because then that makes her take an extra turn summoning, but we got that follow-up right there, so that was the kill. I didn't get a Cali on this, but I did get it. I think I got like 6 out of 15 or 7 out of 15 tonight, so I'm very happy with that. That means that I can run the dungeon without resetting it now and hopefully get the remaining 4 I need before she's gone this time to max out all her skills. So that's pretty much it, guys, for the video. Trying to think if there's anything major I missed on Cali. A couple things you could, if you're newer to the game, or you're newer to mid-game, maybe you don't have Sid, maybe you don't have whatever. Able works really well. Stand Able next to your tank. Able's 2 works very well. It blocks dots, not from being applied, but from doing damage, and he can put up a shield that absorbs damage, even penetration damage, so that's really gnarly if your tank gets low. It's on a 4-turn cooldown, I believe, so if you're running it with a hero with cooldown reduction, it's basically on a 3-turn cooldown. It's healing every turn as long as the person's not poisoned. And you can cheese Kali all with it, which is pretty nice. Now, what else? Other heroes you could possibly consider? Believe it or not, Lydia. Now, Lydia is an SR. She's the storyline character, for those who don't remember. She has a self-res. She has a Resurrect that's on I believe, a 3-turn cooldown. It might be a 4-turn, but I believe it's 3 turns. Single res from what I remember. And her 3, it's a big heal that makes people immune to dot damage. So you could consider that. Her 1 is just your typical heals water units more, which unfortunately you're probably not going to be running a lot of water units. Demos actually works in here. Karen works in here because Karen has that cooldown reduction on her 2. Demos, the main thing with him is the shield and the cleansing, because he can cleanse with his, whatever that's called, like Undead Warrior or whatever the hell that buff is. But you know, they're both water, so when they take damage, they're going to take damage, and 30% extra damage from Cali. That's 1-shot range for a lot of units, except for tanks. Tanks, it's about 2 to 3 shot range, depending on how buff your tank is and what debuffs they have up, so hopefully this video helps you guys out. If you got some more questions and stuff, guys, let me know. I did the best at Cali today that I could possibly do, so hopefully things will be smooth sailing from now on. And oh, it's just amazing. I remember the first time Cali was out, I thought I'd never be able to kill her for like 3-4 months or something, but you know, new heroes have come along and stuff, so just the way it goes. Alright guys, so have a good day, and I will talk to you, let's see, well, whenever I put another video out. So I'm ShowtimeDr, ShowtimeDr on Twitch. This is my YouTube. Please subscribe, support the channel, like the video if you like it. And you can find me on Twitch, ShowtimeDr. There's a link in the notes there in the YouTube to our Discord. Come in, share your experiences, answer questions. Sorry, I'm kind of blah, 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 blah. Trying to do my spiel. And yeah, so have a good day, guys. Good luck on farming. Good luck on everything. Get strong, and I will catch you later. Peace out.